All right, everyone. Welcome to today's charting session, no? Sa mga hindi pa po nakakaalam, what we do here is we typically look at yung mga trending names and we base that from yung listahan na nakukuha sa Instagrams. So if you use Instagrams as your charting provider or charting software, you typically find that list somewhere on the right-hand side of your screen. We also take chart requests, and very often we do a combination of both. Today's no different. We'll be doing some trending names and konting chart requests din para napag-uusapan natin lahat ng may mga either katanungan or pertinent na nangyayari that we can look into. Okay? So today we're going to start off with SGP. Mapapansin nyo na naka 5-minute chart ako sa SGP, and the reason for that is hindi ko kasi magamit yung lumang chart eh. Kumbaga, yung where price is now, price has never been before. So, hindi ako maagamit ng previous data to mark out my levels. So, instead, kailangan ako gumamit sa 5-minute na chart, no? Now, last time we checked on this was yung kaka-FOO pa lang niya. Na-mention ko nun na I wanted to see at least a 20% increase on open for me to hold. Pero, hindi nangyari yon. Nag-open tayo around 13. I wasn't able to check it. So, nabenta ko siya at 13.2. So, roughly 10% minus whatever miscellaneous fees, no? Kasi nga, my initial plan was to see kung kaya niyang mag-open at above 20%. Needless to say, napaaga yung benta ko nun, no? So, I'm gonna flash an image right now somewhere in the screen, probably is my left-hand side, to show you yung next trade that I took, and that was here sa baba, yung around 12.8. When price broke out of this bottom here, came back up, retested it here, doon ako pumasok, diba, added on 12.84, then I sold ng 14.2. Okay? If you wanna know more about that particular trade, let me know in the comment section and I'll make a video about it, kasi it's not what I usually do. Hindi ako usually bumababa sa smaller time frames, no? Now, ano na yung nangyari after that? Price broke higher. I was actually looking for a possible retest dito where we broke out from at 14.28. Di na umabot eh, hanggang 14.5 lang. So, di na ako nakabili ulit. And then from there, we moved higher, went all the way to 16.5 na high before closing today at 15.92. Now, pag ganito yung itsura ng chart, I'm always a little worried na baka overextended na. So, I like waiting for invalidations. So, for example, dito, okay, technically speaking, nagkaroon tayo ng parang head and shoulders pattern, di ba? Pero we broke above it and invalidated yung pattern na yon. Di ba? Where did we retest? Hindi ba doon din sa taas ng right shoulder? And then from there, we pushed higher kasi na-invalidate yung pattern. Dito naman, pwede natin siyang tingnan din na may parang malaking head and shoulders pattern din na nabubuo, no? So, dahil doon, I would prefer, personally, if I was gonna trade this again, to see some type of invalidation before deciding if it's something that I want to trade moving forward. Now, why all the hedging? Diba? Bakit hindi na lang, basta pag nag-invalidate, papasok na ako? Kasi it still all depends kung ano itsura ng structure if and when that happens. Maaaring hindi ko gusto yung itsura, maaaring hindi ko gusto siya nauuntog and things like that, no? So it depends. It really depends. Now, if we're bullish, obviously what we want to see is either A, yung invalidation, diba? Invalidation could either be here, or mas malinis, we just break out from 16.5. Okay, then see if we can break out from there and push higher from there, no? Now, if you're holding this, you've been holding this since tong FOO, obviously, congratulations. It's moved in your direction. But what you need to watch out for ngayon is baka magkaroon ng pullback, baka tapos na yung initial frenzy. And for me, ang tinitingnan ko doon is if mabasag tong 15.4 na level and price comes back down to within this range, I want to observe what it does from there. Kung mabasag tong area na to, tong 14.5 to 14.28, then I think we go deeper, possibly filling the gap left behind here. Okay? If that holds, then we can reassess from there kung ano yung mga pwede natin gawin moving forward. Okay, so as yung like ko nga sinasabi, ang maganda niyan, at least sama-sama po natin itong tinitingnan. at inoobserbahan so we can all watch it together, learn together, and execute together, no? So let's move on. Next, let's check ALLHC. So ALLHC, just let me delete that. Price has, as we discussed, more or less range dito, no? May itong area na to. Okay? How tight that range will become remains to be seen. Maaaring ito na yung support. Itong upper bounds lang yung maging range niya. Pwede rin na itong buo maging range, di ba? So it really depends. We will have to watch and see what happens. So like we discussed last week, what we want to see here, at least what I want to see here, is mabasag yung 6.2 and then proceed from there. Para new 52-week high, and then we can watch and see if we can push higher. Pero note lang na while yun nga, Ayala did add to its logistics portfolio, for lack of a better term, with yung to go, no? Hindi daw yon connected dito sa ALLHC. So if you were expecting to use that as a potential driver, then baka kailangan lang natin ingatan, or we might need to readjust our ideas or our plans based on that information. Okay? Now, what I don't want to see here is for price to break below itong white zone na to, break below 4.75. Kasi pagka ganon, essentially, para na rin niya sinabi, okay, this range is done. Baka bumalik muna tayo dito sa babang range na to, 4.3 to 4.75. Or if mabasag pa to, even lower, 3.73 to 4.31. Okay? But for now, okay, another thing that we can look at is, yes, it could be forming an inverted head and shoulders pattern here. However, we do need to remember na typically ang mga head and shoulders or inverted head and shoulders are reversal patterns rather than continuation patterns. So, while I'm not saying na dapat di siya pansinin, maybe at least ako, I just won't put as much weight on it as I would typically do kung nakita ko siya somewhere sa baba. Okay? Moving on, let's check SHLPH. So SHLPH, nagkaroon tayo ng quick move to the upside. Tapos yun nga, we broke above this level. Price came back to it in this candle, nag-hold siya. Pero next time down, binasag na siya pababa. Then we came back, retested the same level, 23.3. Nag-hold na siya as resistance. Tapos ngayon, we're trading beneath it. Okay? So ngayon, na nandito tayo sa ilalim ng level na yan, what we can ascertain is either price is ranging here muna as it decides what it wants to do. So that's somewhere from 21 point something hanggang 23, mga ganun na area. More or less yung sinasayawan niya ngayon. Pwede rin, possible na we're doing some type of flag down to this previous structure of consolidation here. Then from there, we can decide kung mababasag ba tayo to the upside or hindi. Na I realize na hindi sobrang ganda yung pagka-drawing ko ng flag. Pasensya na, talagang medyo di tayo artistic. No? Okay? So what I want to see from here para maging mas bullish ulit, number one is I want this area to hold na sana. So that's 21.85. Kasi kung mabasag natin yan, then highly likely we come back and revisit yung support dito. Okay? Not just revisit, we might come back, tag it, take out some liquidity, meaning mag-flush tayo, magpakat tayo ng ilang tao, tapos titignan natin kung magiging trap ba siya or hindi. So that's one thing. The other thing is, kung dumiretso lang, di ba? Wala nang ito talagang binutas, dumiretso lang, butasin to. Then baka medyo dehado tayo. That opens up this area here where price could possibly trade in moving forward, as yun nga, it kind of ruined yung short-term bullish momentum. Okay? What I want to see is mabasag naman siya to the upside. I want it to clear here na. Kasi if we just clear this or this, parang naiipit pa rin tayo ng mini range na to eh. So I will be watching for what price does if it comes here. Okay, mauntog siya dito sa area na to. Mukha ba mag-hold? Mukhang tutuloy? Kailangan ko nang panoorin. If mabasag tayo to the upside, then baka iba na usapan. Bagong 52-week high. Then hopefully what that does is it allows momentum to come back and we start pushing higher from there. Alright. Next, let's take a quick look at TEL. Alright. So TEL, so after a while na pagko-consolidate, patutuloy pa rin naman. But today, medyo strong yung candle niya. And we're looking at possibly breaking up itong high na to. So that's 1,755. Let's move a level there, no? Okay, let's move a level there para lang clear tayo. Okay? So, if mabasag to, bagong 52-week high na naman, so we can look forward to opening up this range here. So, opening up this range up to 1944. Obviously, that's a bigger picture range, no? We need to understand na may mga minor resistances pa rin na pwedeng mauntog along the way. But if mabasag tayo dyan sa 1755 na area na yan, then that's the area that opens up. However, we do need to watch out for fake outs. So, kunyari nabasag to, okay, comes back, hindi nag-hold, breaks beneath, test sa ilalim, mag-hold, bumaba pa ulit, then that might be signaling us na babalik muna siya dito sa original range na to. Baka hindi pa siya tapos, baka may nag-iipon pa, baka nag-gather pa siya ng strength, nag-gather pa ng momentum, bago ulit magpatuloy to the upside ang price. Okay? What we don't want to see is mabasag tong range na to altogether. So, hindi matuloy yung breakout, mabasag yung range to the downside. Mag-break tayo beneath 1.6. That opens up this area here. So, that's 1.545 hanggang 1.6, no? And if we go further, break beneath this low, may fractal dito, break beneath that low sa 1.465, then that opens up this area underneath na again, would kind of ruin the momentum or the consolidation or whatever na na-form na niya along the way. So that's just something to watch out for. Again, like I always say, do I think it's gonna happen? Maybe, maybe not. Diba? It's looking like it's gonna push higher, but it's best to be prepared for any and all scenarios para if and when the time comes, hindi tayo nag-freeze. Diba? Okay lang naman na handa tayo sa masamang pwedeng mangyari, tapos hindi siya mangyari. Masaya pa nga tayo eh. Diba? And then finally, let's take a look at nickel, no? So nickel, whoa. Okay, so essentially, it's trapped within this range here. Despite the gap down, despite everything, in the grand scheme of things, it's trapped within this small range here, which is trapped within this larger range here. Okay? So essentially, ranging pa rin siya, albeit it's looking a lot more, it's looking a lot more bearish, no? So, what I don't want to see is mabasag tong support na to kasi malamang marirevisit tong mga cluster of lows, and that opens up the possibility na price will start trading within this range here sa 4.82 to 5.18 na area, more or less. I say more or less kasi ang daming cluster of lows dito eh. Ang hirap magbigay ng exact figure, so kinuha ko na lang yung extreme high niya. Okay, but possible din na parang ganito lang. Depende how it plays out. To invalidate this, I want price to not just break out from here. I want it to break out here na sa level na to. So that's 5.91. Let's set it at 6 pesos. If it can trade above 6 pesos again, then at least that opens up the possibility na maritag ulit yung 6.41. And if we can break that, it's broken out from this larger range like we discussed. New 52-week high. And usually kapag ganyang malaki yung consolidation, nagkakaroon ng continuation ng momentum, no? Which is again something that we all want to see and hope for. So, yun sana yung mangyari. Now, kung mabasag pati itong 4.82, well, medyo tagilid na talaga. Baka balikan na niya yung support dito, or yung area of consolidation here. Alright? So guys, dito po yung nagtatapos yung video natin for today. I hope na nagustuhan nyo at kahit papano po ay may natutunan kayo or nakatulong po to sa inyo. And as always, maraming salamat po sa panonood. I really appreciate it. Good luck and happy trading!